Okey Uzoeshi,
Yes.
who has remained relevant in Nollywood as far as I remember. And I always ask myself how people get to do it, because the industry is really very competitive. And day in, day out, we see some people and then we don't see them again. But Okey has been there. Let's start from there, Okey. How have you been able to, what is the secret to staying there?
I don't think there's a simple answer to that question. I would say for free though that it's hard work, dedication, the usual stuff. Then there's grace, obviously. I mean, God first and foremost. There's grace. Like you rightly pointed out, it's a truly, truly competitive industry. So basically survival of the fittest. You know what I mean? So it's not easy. I wouldn't lie, but yeah. There's no simple answer.
That's a very diplomatic answer. Very political.
Like I said, no simple answer.
Tell me, how did Nollywood come about? With your education, I know you could have been anything else you wanted to be. So how did you come into Nollywood and how did you stick to Nollywood?
That's a very interesting question. How did I get into Nollywood?
I got into Nollywood, believe it or not, by fluke. I did not want to be an actor. I had no interest in acting at all. But a bunch of friends of mine had wanted to go for this audition called Ambo at the time, Amstel Multi Box Office at the time. So they encouraged me and said, okay, let's go, let's get the form. And I said, what's it for? They say it's acting. I'm like, I don't know. Acting is not my thing. And they said, no, let's just. So I said, okay, fine. And so 7 of us go for the auditions. And of the 7, I'm the only person who makes it to the house. Now I'm in the house, and Amstel Multi Box Office was a reality TV show for actors. So I'm in the house, and I have veterans like Bimbo Akintola, Charles Novia, Uncle Akin Lewis telling me, okay, you're such a brilliant actor. And I'm suddenly asking myself, maybe this is something I can do, and that was how it started. And then I come out of the house, and then the calls start to come. And, as the calls come, initially I'm like, oh, okay. After a while, they'll get tired. Maybe they'll stop, I think for the longest time, I had what the people call imposter syndrome. I felt like I didn't quite belong. I'm like, why am I here? What am I doing here? But everybody seemed to assume, or everybody seemed to keep saying that, okay, you have it. So I'm like, okay, if everybody believes it, at some point I started believing it myself. So
what was the first film you did when you left that
box office? My first film was an Msong film called Fatal Imagination. I can never forget. It was so wild. I randomly ran into Msong. She told me, I saw you in Ambo. You were so great. We thought you were going to win. You didn't win. So I have this project I'm doing next week. What do you think? Do you want to jump on? I'm like, oh, okay, sure. And I jumped on, and that was my first project.
Okay. Who won at your set?
OCUKJ.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
That must have been a very brilliant set.
Oh, yeah. I had OC, there was myself, there was Daniel Etemefiong. Yeah. My set was brilliant. And our coach was Sam Dede, so yeah.
So if you had not done an Msong film, because Msong is brilliant, I think she's amazing. If you had not done an Msong film, do you think you still have gone on to record bigger successes the way you have?
Honestly, a lot of people have asked me that question.
It's a very interesting question. People's journeys, their pathways in the industry differ. Some people start small, end up big. Some people start big, end up small. It's but I would just call it, like I said, grace and favor. Honestly, I can't tell you. It was so random. A friend of mine came around, and said, oh, I want to go and see a friend. And I'm like, which friend is this? I'm like, let's go. And I follow her to go and see the friend, and the friend turns out to be Msong. And that's why she said, oh, yeah, I saw you on Ambo, and I thought you were great. I thought you were going to win. I'm like, oh, well, people voted, and she goes, yeah, okay. So I had this project, and that was it. Literally, I never really had to audition. I never really had to go through, any of those like very long processes. So I cannot say for sure if that was like the big moment, because I was cast alongside Stephanie Linus now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was my love interest in the project. So for me, that was huge, So like, I cannot say if that was what, like, if my career path would have been different if I didn't do an Msong film first. But I know that surely was a big step, a big first step for me.
I must ask you this. I remember when I interviewed Joseph Benjamin after he did Mahmoud Ali Balogun's movie with Genevie.
Yes.
That was one of his first movies.
Yes.
And he said that he was on set with Genevie, and the first scene they were supposed to shoot on the first day of that set was to kiss Genevie. And he was scared to kiss Genevie because almighty Genevie. And the director had to take him to somewhere and coach him before he could do. Yeah. I'm asking you that question because you just told us that Msong's movie, your love interest was Stephen. At that time, she was one of the biggest actress in Nollywood. Yes. How did you manage to undo it?
Mr. Shion, that is what you will say. Okay. So I would say that I was fortunate to be surrounded by professionals. That's the first thing I'll say. The film was directed by Odour In Kissing Roles, and like I said, produced by Msong, and it had myself and Stephanie Kirike at the time. So I remember, because when you're surrounded by professionals, even if you're confused, and you're surrounded by professionals who care, who want to help. They want to help. They're not throwing you to the wolves or ignoring you or abandoning you. They want to help. So they figured out quickly that was my first, quickly. They figured it out quickly, and then it was a bit of group effort. Everybody just chiming in. Stephanie herself, in fairness to her, trying to help me feel relaxed, oh no, it's fine. We're good. We're okay. Every time, after the scene, I'm like, of course, you are self-conscious. You want to go and lick tom-tom or chew gum or something. You want to be sure that, everything is okay, and you start and ask, I hope, no, you're good. You're doing great. You're doing great. Maybe we can do it this way, or maybe you should, try it like this, that kind of thing. But she was great. She was, she's a consummate professional. So, it was a wonderful experience.
Okay. We spoke with an actress, and we asked her a question about what you just spoke about kissing in Nollywood. Right. If she had shot with an actor and she had to be conscious, maybe she had body odor or mouth odor problem. Has that happened to you?
Mr. Sheon, you're looking for talk.
We are not asking you to mention names.
No, of course I'm not mentioning names, but I would say that not in a very long time, to be frank. Not in a very long. I think it happened. I only had one experience that was particularly bad and it affected me. Unfortunately, she was an actor on the up and up. She was an upcoming actor at the time. That was the experience I can think of, and it was a bit uncomfortable. And I'm not the sort of person that would want to make you feel uncomfortable, because one of the characteristics of this job is the degree of vulnerability that is required of you. You are expected to just be vulnerable, be emotional, be this, be that, So when you are literally putting yourself out there, particularly with strangers, because a lot of these actors you're acting alongside, you don't know them from anywhere. Sometimes you just meet them on set for the first time. So when you have to be that vulnerable with people, I don't want to add another layer by making you feel even more insecure by saying things like, oh, your breath smells funny, I could take a cue from one of my senior colleagues, Stella Damasos, I remember some project we did together so many years ago, Two Brides and a Baby. And I remember Stella would just randomly come on set and open a pack of chewing gum and just share it to everybody. She has a target. Sometimes we know who the target is, but she doesn't want the person to feel self-conscious. So she just shares it to everybody. And it's so weird because, funny enough, she gave it to this person and the person said, oh, no, I'm good. I don't... All of us look at the person like...
I remember Two Brides and a Baby. Beautiful Zik Zulu.
Oh, yes. What's her name? No, actually, it was Blessing Igbe and Teko Benson.
Yes, I remember.
We had 13 Best of Nollywood nominations at the time. So yeah.
No.
Okay, so I have a question. We had a debate at the beginning of the show when we were talking about entry points into Nollywood.
Right.
A lot of people do not have a lot of training into the industry.
Right.
You had some sort of you didn't plan to come into the industry.
No.
It was just sort of random.
Right.
Do you think it should stay like that? Do you think there should be some form of checks and balance in place to check who comes into the industry, or to create some sort of I think it's going to create bottleneck, but Mr. Bond does not
agree.
What do you think should be the entry point for Nollywood actors?
As with everything in life, everything that has an advantage has a disadvantage. Everything that has advantages has disadvantages. Now, while you are right that, for instance, as an example, platforms like YouTube have democratized the industry, made it like accessible to everybody. You can't have a real God complex. You know, if this producer no hire you, that producer will hire you. You know what I mean? You know, one man's meat is another man's pomo. But the downside of that is that there are no, like you rightly pointed out, checks or balances. Any Tom, Dick, and, you know, Hafiz can just stroll in and say, I want to be an actor, and then just start acting. And, you know, before anything, he goes viral the first time and he starts to feel like he's a star. No training, no backup, no experience, no nothing. Just vibes, you know. So there's the upside of it. Like I said, it is democratized. Everybody has access. Everybody can, you know, make something of themselves. But, you know, hopefully, I'm hoping that there's some kind of standard, you know, or some kind of, like, I don't know, you know, like you rightly pointed out, something that at least keeps the quality at a certain standard or at a certain place, as against just like every random person just like strolling in. And, you know.
As we are running out of time, so I need to ask you this.
Okay.
We're going to go personal now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
How do you cope with Nollywood? With not Nollywood like this. How do you cope with the ladies? Because you are out there on.
Especially with the kind of roles you take.
All right. How do I cope?
I cope. You know, I've been like, I don't know how to say this. I've been very fortunate in the kind and the quality of fans that I have. My fans tend to cut across, but they kind of sort of tend to be older women, older, you know, ladies. You know, I mean, I'm not saying I don't have younger fans, of course I do, but like they're largely older women, more mature women. So like they don't do that thing, you know.
Are you dating now?
Of course.
Seriously?
What thing?
They don't do that thing where, oh my God, you know the thing. Mr. Shehu, you know the thing.
I don't know the thing. I'm a Sunday school teacher. I don't know the
Sunday school.
My last question. You guys made me to forget what I wanted to ask. I would like to ask you, quite honestly, what do you think, in 30 seconds, what do you think needs to change in Nollywood?
Oh my God. One thing, there are lots of things that need to change, but okay, let's stick to one thing. I'm hoping we can do better in terms of distribution. That's the one thing I feel is going to like open up a lot of bottlenecks when it comes to like pay. You know, because that affects everybody. It just seems like some random thing. Oh, distribution, you know. But like as an actor, you won't really want to bother yourself about that. But if a film has the potential to earn 2 billion, but it ends up earning 300 million because of poor distribution or poor distribution networks, it trickles down. It affects everybody, even you, the actor, even the crew members, even everybody. It affects everybody. So we can do better as an industry if we have better distribution.
All right. Thank you so much. Like, I'm sure the listeners today must have had a very good time. Yeah. We had Okay here, who has spoken to us. Well, now I know that your fans are more of matured women.
Let's get out the down low.